What's happening, guys? Currently here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I got to honestly tell you, man, Lancaster County in Pennsylvania is probably, I have to say, it's probably one of my most favorite places to go in Pennsylvania. We were basically almost sitting in the center of Amish country, which is in Lancaster County. Um, most of the farmlands in Pennsylvania, Dutch country, are among the most productive in the nation. Many of the farmers here are different from most Americans, and it says different by choice. Okay, different by choice. They are the Amish and the Mennonites, also known as the Plain People. Now, the Plain People, that's something that I didn't know. I mean, they consider themselves as the Plain People. And I got to tell you, man, after spending a whole day here, the people here are just really humble, especially the Amish. They're very humble people, and just very nice. They make a lot of different things, with wood, furniture, things like that. They have their produce, that they grow on their farms. It's so very well organized, and it just seems like the farmlands of the Amish are so much, in my opinion, they're so much more productive than a lot of just a regular farmer, the American farmer. Not saying that the American farmer don't know what they're doing, but it just seems like as you look on these farms and you see the produce and just how their farms look, they are just so almost perfect. They're almost perfect. So it says that the Amish people have been using horses, which I've seen a lot of that today. They travel by horse and buggy, and they are required by law that they have to have blinking lights on the back of their buggies, and also turn signals. They have to use turn signals, but they have every much as right on the highway as you do in your car. Their horse and buggy is completely legal as long as they have their turn signal, and they got very bright lights in the back that blink, and they also have these big bright white lights in the front, and they have to be on at all times. So they've been using horses since the days when only horses made horsepower. That makes sense. In comparison to our fast-paced society, the simpler, family-centered Amish culture holds a special fascination for many of us. The Amish trace their heritage back hundreds of years, and yet, despite all the time that has passed and the many changes that have taken place in society, they still live and work much as their forefathers did. For the Amish people family, farm and faith are top priorities. And I think with the farm and the faith being top priorities, I think you can see that. You can see that just by looking at their farms. I mean, they are just so, shall I say, well groomed, because their farms are just very clean. The crops, when you see an Amish farm, like the beginning of the season, the growing season, and now you're in the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, it doesn't matter. Their farms and their crop just look so healthy and green, and it always amazed me. The Amish are devout in their faith, believing in a literal interpretation and application of Scripture as the Word of God. They take seriously the biblical commands to separate themselves from the things of the world. They believe worldliness can keep them from being close to God and can introduce influences that could be destructive to their communities and to their way of life. Today, there are over 25 different Amish and Mennonite and Brethren church groups in Lancaster County, all holding to slightly different traditions and their own interpretations of the Bible. The more traditional groups are called Old Order Amish. They do not permit electricity or telephones in their homes. Like today, I gotta honestly say today, just spending the day in Lancaster, we have seen a lot of different Amish people. It's like you can't really kind of pinpoint who belongs to who, where, whatever, because they all look alike. They do. The Mennonites and the older traditional style Amish people, they all look alike. So you don't really know what they are, to be honest with you. Today, my wife and I did not get any footage of it, only because out of respect to the Amish, they do not like to have their picture taken. They just do not want that at all. So out of respect, I did not take any of the footage, but we stopped. They had a roadside where they were selling their produce, and we stopped, and I'm so glad we did, because we got an awesome deal from this gentleman. He was just such a nice guy, an Amish man, and he was just hooking us up with all these great deals with the apples and they had all kinds of stuff. I mean, they had the green peppers, hot peppers, watermelons, tomatoes, all kinds of great stuff. And I mean, their produce was just amazing. It was just so healthy looking. They also were selling eggs, brown eggs, that he was explaining were just laid today. They picked them early in the morning, and he gave us 2 dozen of those eggs. And I love supporting the local farmers. I think that it's just what we should do. We should be supporting local farmers and buying their product. I would prefer to buy any produce from a local grower rather than buying that stuff out of a grocery store. You just never know what you're getting. Most of the time you go into a grocery store and you want to get tomatoes, and the tomatoes are as hard as a rock. And to me, that's not good quality produce. But when you go to a local farmer like the Amish and you buy their produce, this man's tomatoes were just so brilliantly red, and just the perfect feel for them. You know what I mean? They just had, you just know. But he gave us some really, really good deals today, and such a nice guy. He said he does this a lot with him and his daughter. They grow a lot of this stuff every year, and they sell it. Is it something, Amish people are really hard to try to understand. Is it okay for them to sell their produce to the public, the outside, you know what I mean? Were they Mennonites? I don't know what they are, but I know they're just really nice people, really, really nice people. We did a couple different things today, and unfortunately it's been really gray, very cloudy. It's been raining on and off all day today, just as expected. But all in all, I have to say that it was a very interesting day today, spending here in Lancaster, PA, with the Amish. And it can't, if anything, they actually give tours, I guess. They give tours where you can go to a Amish farm, and they allow you to walk through their home to see how they live, to go into their farm, to see how they farm. Now those, in my opinion, are not the older traditional style Amish people. They do not allow folks like us on the outside to come in on into their property and to see how they live. They're very private, and a lot of people actually get the impression that the Amish is like a cult. They're like a cult because they have like their own laws and they have their own rules, and they, I don't really see it as a cult. I just see it as, think about back in the day, way back in the day when there wasn't any electricity. And everybody had to live that way, okay? And when you think about it, is it really all that bad? Is it really all that bad to live that kind of life? I mean, you wake up every day, your kids are still going to school, they're learning, they're just not picking up the traditional, things in life like we do on the outside with our kids. I don't have any, by the way. I just, you guys know what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. But, their kids are brought up basically, and they're taught in their own school, and they work very, very hard. They work extremely hard. So, is it really such a bad thing? I don't think so. You don't see their kids walking around with their faces buried into their phones and all caught up with all that stuff. I see it as a it's a very interesting lifestyle for those of us that, of course, we have not lived like how they may have lived back in, let's say, the 1700s or 1600s, whatever, 1800s. I don't even know when electricity first came out, but when there wasn't any electricity, this is how people had to live. And they got by just fine with what they had, and they worked very hard to keep things going. I just find it really interesting, and if you ever get the opportunity or chance to look up Lancaster, Pennsylvania, do so and check it out, see what it's like for the Amish people and how they live. They're just very humble, happy people, and it was just a good day today. We had fun today exploring the Amish, and you can drive literally for miles. You can drive for miles through Lancaster, and it's just nothing but the Amish farmlands, their farms, their homes. Everything is just so well put. Everything is just it's a clean farm. You can see the work that goes behind these farms to keep them the way that they are. So if you ever get the opportunity, check it out, guys. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Amish country, the Dutch country, they say. They have also made a lot of famous films here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I don't know if any of y'all have seen the tragic event that happened here. I can't remember how long ago it was, but there was a milkman that was a friend of a Amish community. He was on the outside, of course. He wasn't Amish, but he would pick up. He would either pick up or he would deliver milk to the. I don't think he delivered. I think he was actually picking up milk from their farms. And this band, you have to watch the movie. It's called Amish Grace, and it was made here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And it was about the milkman that killed all those innocent Amish girls in their school. It was a very sad movie. It was a very tragic thing that happened here. It hit national news. But that was about 15 minutes from where we were located today. Didn't want to go there. I don't really think you have access, but you can see it from the road. I've only ever seen the school one other time when I was traveling through with my work. But there was that. And there was also another famous movie that was made with, what was his name? Harrison Ford, where he plays a cop and he ends up staying on an Amish farm. I think they were out to kill him. There was other police officers involved with some nasty stuff that he there was a little Amish boy that was at a train station that was witness to a murder, and they were coming after him and this police officer. It was a corrupt system, basically, and that film was made also here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That movie is called Witness, which was a very, very good movie. It's an older movie, but if you ever get the chance, check that movie out. That movie really portrays how the Amish live, the same as Amish Grace. That film also shows you how humble the Amish people are. But anyway, it was a great day. You know, I travel in Lancaster all the time, and it's really something because when I'm at work, all I can do is basically just travel through these different areas. But, you know, it's really something when you're able to take the time to just go and check it out, and you learn so much. There's so much to learn here with the Amish and the people on the outside too, on how they cope and how they deal with the Amish. And everybody just seems to have respect for one another, okay? They don't bother the Amish people. The Amish don't bother them. The Amish go into towns. You see them on their buggies. They're traveling along with traffic. Yeah, they slow traffic down, but they have every right to travel just like we do. It's just that they just have horsepower, if you know what I mean. So that's about it, guys. Lancaster, PA. If you get the opportunity, check it out. And you know what I'm saying? Keep it real. Love one another. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'm actually going to have some pretty cool videos coming out here real soon. So make sure you hit that bell and share the videos and like them. Like. Hit that like button. I'll talk to you guys again here real soon. Peace.